Hey everybody, Sam Kavaris in the Nimnicht Buick GMC video sports update. Obviously a lot of Jaguar news. Justin Blackmon now suspended for 4 games for a second violation of the league's substance abuse policy. This is not good news, obviously, but perhaps the best thing to come out of it is that Dave Caldwell's reaction on a conference call yesterday when I asked him just basically about what he thought about this and had he talked to Blackmon about this. And he said, look, we talked to him specifically about this and, told him and many other players, but specifically Blackmon, that it's important to stay out of trouble. Obviously, he couldn't, and Caldwell said, we're not going to police him any new way. We're going to treat him like everybody else. He has a certain accountability that he has to live up to, and that's the expectation. Caldwell said, look, we know we're not going to have 53 angelic players, but we do expect them to be responsible adults, and if they can't do that, we'll move on without them. They're not going to give him any special treatment. I think that that's important, that a guy like Justin Blackmon know that. When he was arrested the first time for blowing 3 times the legal limit in Stillwater, he said, look, that's not me, it's not who I am, I'm sorry, it's a one-time only thing. Well, clearly this has become a pattern. That was actually the second time that happened, and now this is the third. But entering this league's substance abuse policy, he had 1 strike against him. The second strike means an automatic 4-game suspension. A third time, you're suspended for a year, and this is not up to the team. This is part of the collective bargaining agreement between the league and the players. So the team doesn't have any say in any of this. It's what happens. Blackmon will not be paid for those 4 games. He can play in the preseason. He can participate in all the mini camps. He will be allowed to work out at the facility. He just can't play in the games, and he cannot attend meetings, and he will not be paid. In addition to that, you might remember Gene Smith had a clause written into his contract that would void the guaranteed money at the end of his contract if he in fact did test positive for something else again. Now that he has, that money can be voided by Dave Caldwell, and it's Caldwell's decision whether he'll do that or not. It could possibly, he can still earn it, but it could possibly cost Justin Blackmon $10 million. I know a lot of you are saying, what is he, stupid? Sometimes you wonder about what players' thought processes are when they get into situations, as Dave Caldwell said, that are easily avoidable. This is all coming off the draft where there was such a positive vibe for the Jaguars. And obviously, it might have been the easiest draft the Jaguars have ever had since Tom Coughlin's first one in 1995. Why? Because they're in a stated rebuilding process. It's not like they got to go get a wide receiver, go get a linebacker, or try to plug somebody in to fill a need, a defensive end or whatever. They need everything. So basically, in this case, they got their draft board up and they started picking the next best player. In some cases, it was a position of need. But, last year, if Luke Joeckel was coming out, they were going to take him. He's a right tackle. They didn't need a right tackle. They didn't think they needed a right tackle last year. This year, Luke Joeckel, best player in the draft according to them, available at number 2, easy to take because they need him. Second round pick, a safety, they need one. Happen to also be the next guy on their board. Third round pick, a cornerback, they need one. Also happen to be the last guy on their board at that position. The impressive thing is that both Caldwell and Gus Bradley said that as the first 2 rounds finished, virtually all the guys that they had rated in the first 2 rounds were gone as well. So they're pretty much on the same page with everybody else. The Jaguars drafted 3 players out of the Southeastern Conference, a guy who can return punts, a guy from the University of Florida, some guys that should help on special teams with some speed, and Denard Robinson, who is a little bit of a flyer, but certainly has some speed and a project to figure out what he can do in the National Football League. But the guy is a tremendous athlete. He's a phenomenal athlete, and they should give him an opportunity, and no doubt he'll be on the team and have a chance to go do something as a receiver or a running back. Caldwell made that very clear yesterday. And one other thing, it's sad to see or sad to hear that Cole Pepper won't be on the Jaguars broadcast this year. He's been a fixture for many years in the postgame and in the pregame, and he's done such a magnificent job. We're glad to and happy to have him on our team here at Channel 4. He's a really good guy, a very good broadcaster, a real solid professional, and there's no question that Jaguar fans will miss him there. As Cole tweeted out yesterday, it was not his decision. I'm Sam Kavaris, and that's the Nimnicht Buick GMC Video Sports Update.